In today's video, I'm going to share with you 3 kinds of friends that every man needs. You're going to need to pay attention to this video because it is going to be so important for not only your personal growth, but your spiritual growth as well. So one of the things that I think is so important about friends is having different kinds of friends, right? Not every friend is made equally. They fill different aspects, different portions of our life. They fill different roles in not only helping us move forward, but as we help them too. We fill a role and a position in their life, in their friend roster, for lack of a better term. And that's not a bad thing. That's okay, because we all have different giftings, we all have different skills, and we all have different ages and times and seasons in our life. And so we're able to meet people in a different way based on those things. So here are the 3 friends that I think every man needs. The first kind of friend is a father or mentor. Okay, so this is the father mentor, maybe not your literal father, but it's some sort of mentor, a man that is older than you. And the reason I say this is think about life as, a cavernous jungle, right? And you're walking through this jungle and you're trying to find your way, and maybe there's like this bridge that goes across this deep cavern, this deep valley, and you're trying to maneuver it yourself. And so many guys just operate in this kind of wilderness alone because we're told that individualism is a sign of just being a man, and you don't need to ask for help, and that's just part of just being a good Christian man is doing things on your own. And it's so backwards. We were made to live in community, and we were also made to learn from older men. The problem is so much of our society and churches have become segregated. We've segregated ages. So young people only interact with young people, and middle-aged people only interact with middle-aged people, and older people only interact with older people. And you're not getting that pass down of wisdom. And I can't solve all of that for you right now, but I guess my encouragement would be for you is to see that older person as that person who has walked through the wilderness already. They've been through this jungle. They know which wood slats on the bridge are faulty and which ones to step over and how to maneuver these different things. That is such an amazing opportunity to be able to glean that wisdom from that person. You're asking me, Isaac, how do I actually make this kind of connection? In theory, of course, this is great. This is wonderful. But I just how am I supposed to become friends with like a 70-year-old man? Or like, how does that even work? I guess what I would recommend to you is try to get in the spaces where they are. If that means, stepping out of your young adults group to join the men's group, or if that means, just approaching them and, being in a group conversation with somebody and asking them about what they're up to, what they do. Maybe they're retired and they're enjoying fishing and camping, and maybe you don't know a lot about that, or maybe they enjoy cars, and you're like, okay, that's not my thing, but how can I be curious, sincerely curious about what they're interested in, and maybe they can teach me something, and maybe that can be an opportunity to just bond with them and chat with them. What I find is that guys generally aren't super open to opening up just in conversation. There are people that are like that. Like, I am one of those people that would just be happy with sitting down, face to face with you and having a 4-hour conversation. That would not faze me at all, and I'd have no problem with that. And a lot of my friends are in a similar way, but more traditionally, I guess, guys would prefer to do something, right? Just be active in some way or have some sort of hobby together. And that's how they would like to connect and grow together. And so for this older guy, hey, find out what he's into, see if he's open to showing you, because man, hey, a lot of older folks too are lonely. So if you're like, hey, I'd love to see, you fix up your car, how you do this. Do you think I could come by sometime? I would have to believe that they would be open to that. Like, come on, seriously, I think they would be open to that. The next kind of friend is a brother, or somebody that is your age, right? Maybe not your literal brother, but this is the idea: somebody at your stage of life, somebody that you can connect with, someone that you can relate with. One of the verses that I was reading here actually was from Proverbs 27, verse 9. It says, "Oil and perfume make the heart glad, and the sweetness of a friend comes from his earnest counsel. You can have a close friend that's going through similar things that you're going through, and the sweetness of that friend is through their earnest counsel, somebody being present with you, somebody that's looking out for the best for you, and you're growing together because you're going through like the same things. You're getting, you're in that early stages of maybe it's dating or marriage or, having kids, or maybe even before that, maybe you're a little bit younger and you're still just kind of figuring out your life and what it even looks like. Hey, find somebody that's in that same stage of life. Ecclesiastes 4:9 says, "Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their toil." We're continually told in the scripture that community and brotherhood is so important. So why would we neglect that? That's the second kind of friend that every man needs. And within that subset too, I think that's going to make up the majority of friends that you have, is these brother type friends, these folks that are in your same stage of life. For some guys, hey, like you might have a lot of older guys in your life, and that might make up the majority of your friends. That's okay. The last category that I would define that we need to have in our friend roster is our sons or mentees, right? So folks that we can come alongside that are younger than us, that we have more experience in, or maybe they're younger in the faith, that we can just be present with them and be transcendently curious about their lives. That's how we make our in, is to ask questions, to be curious, to show that we truly care. One of the things you need to recognize is that young guys see you in this next stage of life, whatever it is, you're 22, 25, 27, as super cool. Like, you are cool. Even to a 12-year-old, a 17-year-old is like super, super cool. I remember myself, right? I had, when I was like 10 years old, I think, I had a leader at one of like our kids club at church. And I think he was like 16, 17. But to me, he was so cool. Like, he was the coolest guy. Anything he said, I would have just listened, and I wanted to just be like him. And use that to your advantage. Be a good mentor in that way. Encourage them. Encourage them to seek the Lord. There can be a tendency and maybe a temptation to just kind of, be cool and not really talk about the things of God. Like, they already admire you so much, so you don't really want to complicate things by bringing God into the mix. But I want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you that you can be that young guy's first real mentor, right? In a lot of ways. And it doesn't mean that you're sitting down next to him, drinking coffee and chatting for a couple hours. Like, that's not what it looks like for those guys often. It's like those small interactions, those small conversations where you're showing curiosity, you're showing that you care, you're asking good questions, you're encouraging them to continue to, be courageous in their life and pursue the Lord and pursue excellence in what they're doing. That means a lot. We think back to that. We think back to that wilderness analogy. The mentor is in front of you. He's leading the way. He's kind of pushing through the bush. He's cutting down some trees. He's telling you where to step and what to avoid. You have your brother, your friend that's next to you, right? He's the one that's walking with you. You're walking step in step. You're going through the same things. You're listening to the mentor in front of you, and you have the son or the mentee behind you. He's following you, right, as you follow the mentor. And you have these kind of sections of leadership, right? These different stages of manhood, really. And it's such a beautiful thing when that happens. We need to get away from this segregation, this age segregation. If you find yourself falling into it, just make an intentional effort, even today, this week at church, reach out to somebody that's not in your age group and make those connections. Begin to reach out. And it might take a while. It could take years. But at least we need to at least try. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, because I'm putting out new videos all the time. If you want to support what I'm doing here with this channel, you can do it either by becoming a channel member, joining our Discord through there, and also becoming a member on Patreon. That's another way that you can do it. This is all under the banner of Daily Disciple. So supporting the Daily Disciple Patreon helps this channel out significantly. Thanks so much for watching again, and until next time, keep pursuing the mission.